Hey guys, it's me, Freddy Pop Collector, and welcome to episode 6 of Fixing Five Nights at Freddy's. For those of you who don't know, this is a 10-part series going through each of the FNAF games and explaining what I would change about them. Each game will have their own episode, and today's episode is episode 6, covering Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzeria Simulator. As with every other game I've covered, this video will be divided into 3 categories about stuff I would change: lore, gameplay, and other. So with the introduction out of the way, let's get into episode 6 of Fixing Five Nights at Freddy's. Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, otherwise known as FNAF 6, was released on Steam on December 4th, 2017. The whole purpose of this game was to wrap up the remaining threads in the FNAF franchise and bring finality to the original series. The game did this by bringing together all the remaining animatronics in the series, also dropping some massive lore reveals in the minigames. This game is considered by many FNAF fans to be a gem in the FNAF library, and honestly I agree, definitely close to beating out Sister Location for my favorite Scott has made. However, with all of this praise, I will say this game's gameplay probably is a step down from Sister Location in my opinion. I say the gameplay is a little bit of a step down because in Sister Location every night was unique, but in this game it just repeats the same cycle every night. You do the tycoon, you do the night, and then you salvage an animatronic, rinse repeat for 5 nights. That's not to say it's bad, but it definitely is a step down in the overall gameplay quality. As far as gameplay changes go, the first gameplay change I would add is the endless tycoon mode we were supposed to get a while ago. So for those of you who don't know, back before Ultimate Custom Night was announced, Scott was considering making an endless tycoon mode for FNAF 6. Once the community embraced the idea of Ultimate Custom Night, Scott quickly dropped the endless tycoon mode idea, which really sucks because the tycoon, in my opinion, was probably my favorite part about the game. Just imagine all the new possibilities an endless tycoon mode could bring. Maybe we could add more rooms to our pizzeria, add more stages, more attractions, more mini games, more animatronics. Maybe we could actually name our pizzeria. There's so many possibilities here, and it just really sucks that we never got an endless tycoon mode. Maybe the tycoon mode would also see the return of the original animatronics, the Funtime animatronics. Since it's obviously not going to be canon, there's so many things you could do with it. This would probably take the place of the custom night. Moving on from the endless tycoon mode, let's talk about the actual office shifts. There's a few small but very important details I would change in my opinion. First of all, when an animatronic is right outside your vent, I think you should see at least the outline of that animatronic instead of just a triangle that's basically right there in front of your face. This would add a lot of tension, especially in that part of the game where every animatronic is just coming at you at once. Also, I would swap out the motion detector system with an actual camera system. Basically, it still functions the same. The only difference is you can actually see the animatronic and place the audio lore. It works the exact same. I just think having cameras would add a lot more to the gameplay than just a triangle moving across the screen. Also, I would nerf Night 5 and Night 6 because those nights are like incredibly hard. So that about wraps up all the major gameplay changes. Like I said with Sister Location, this is the point in the series where Scott was making his games pretty much perfect and had very few gameplay flaws. So that about wraps up the gameplay section. Let's move on to the lore section. This is probably going to be the shortest lore section of any Fixing FNAF video. That's because FNAF 6's entire purpose is to tie a lot of loose ends in the lore. Although there are a few tiny details that I would add. One detail I would add being some sort of Golden Freddy Easter egg. As we all know, the Happiest Day minigame from FNAF 3 was supposed to bring closure to the original 5 children. It did for the original 4, but Golden Freddy is still angry and returns an Ultimate Custom Night to torment William for the rest of eternity. Basically, what I'm saying is Golden Freddy just showing up in Ultimate Custom Night is kind of odd. I would definitely add some sort of indication that he's still around in FNAF 6. But perhaps the biggest lore fix in this entire game, and one of the biggest mysteries in the entire franchise right now, is the Midnight Motorist minigame. I would either remove the minigame entirely, or I would add some more explanation on what this is trying to represent. But when I tell you that's all I've got for lore, I'm not kidding. FNAF 6's lore is probably the best in the series, mostly because it does a great job of basically just telling you what it means. The best example of this is in the final cutscene when we literally get to see the origins of the puppet. So that's gonna wrap it up on the lore section. Let's move on to the final section, the other section. Something I'd really appreciate a reference to in this game is Scrap Chica. I'm 99% sure Scrap Chica was supposed to debut in this game, but it didn't happen for whatever reason. I would at least want to see her in this game at some capacity. Maybe she doesn't have to be haunted, it's just, this is a big loose thread that I feel like Scott should have at least addressed in this game. Also, something I'm gonna mention but not fix, because I know some people are gonna bring it up in the comments, Scrap Trap's design. I'm gonna play a quick clip from my Fixing FNAF 3 video, which basically sums up how I feel about Scrap Trap and what I think needs to be changed about him. As we all know, in FNAF 6, Springtrap looks drastically different than he did in FNAF 3. I think in the newspaper clipping at the end of Night 6, Springtrap should already be in a Scrap Trap costume. I think this would make the transition into his new suit in FNAF 6 a little bit more natural. And the final note I have in this other section is interactions between the animatronics. Basically, there's a lot of history between all of these characters. Baby and Ennard, obviously, is there any tension there? Between William and Lefty, is there any tension there? Between Elizabeth and her father, William Afton, is there any tension there? We know they can speak, they all have voice lines. I would really appreciate some interactions between them, but honestly, that's all I have for this other section. So that's gonna wrap out Fixing Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If my audio sounds a little different than usual, that's because I'm not recording at my house, I'm recording in a hotel room, so it's a little bit more echoey. Also, I'm sorry this is my first episode in a month. I've honestly just needed a break from the series because it was getting to the point where it just felt like a chore to do it, and I don't want my videos to feel like I have to do them, so I just really wanted to give it my all and take a quick break from the series. But don't worry, Fixing Ultimate Custom Night will be coming out next week, starring a very special guest that we will be announcing soon. But with all that being said, that's all I have for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.